Hello fans, Chad Jackson here with head volleyball coach Will Condon in the Coach's Corner. It's our first Coach's Corner of the 2012-2013 season. And Coach Condon, your team well underway for preseason practice. Talk a little bit about how the preseason has gone so far for the Pirates.
Well, we're about 2 weeks in, a week and a half in. We had a preseason scrimmage at FSCJ this weekend in Jacksonville. It's been a great start so far. We've kept the practices very competitive. There's been a lot of competition between players. We've mixed up the teams and forced them to compete against each other for pretty much for everything in practice. And what the result has been very intense. And we practice hard for a short amount of time, and I feel like we get a lot out of it. The scrimmage went pretty well. Our record was great. We were 11-1 in sets played. It wasn't as sharp or as crisp as I would like it to be, but we're still 2 weeks from playing, so we have time to fix it. It was a great opportunity to see where we were at and see what we need to improve, and now we have the time to get back in the gym and address some of those issues.
Now, obviously, you have a team that has a good amount of returners. You have some returning all-conference players, returning all-region players, but you also have a pretty good incoming class. How has the mesh between the returners and the newcomers been so far this preseason?
The mesh has been pretty smooth. We've actually decided to redshirt 4 players from our incoming class, and I think in the long run that will help us because they can focus on getting better and improving and not necessarily worry about competing for playing time, because we're in such an unusual circumstance with turning 13 players from last spring. I mean, we could have just played with our roster from last spring and we would be just fine, but it's been an adjustment for them getting into the speed of this game, the speed of the college game, but we know that they're going to develop into excellent players in the future.
Now, less than 2 weeks away before you open up the regular season, you have a home tournament to open up the season August 31st, September 1st, and then 2 weeks later you have another home tournament mixed in with the trip to Carson Newman. Talk a little bit about the preseason schedule, maybe your goals for what you like to get accomplished and some of the teams you'll be facing.
Well, we have 2 main goals that we always like to address in the preseason, and that is, one, we got to get the regional competition in. We got to play the Catawbas, the Lenore Rhines, the Lincoln Memorials, the Carson Newmans, the Lees McRae's, and we play all those teams in those first 2 weeks. That can be a little intimidating because it's a lot of pressure early on, but with the returners that we have, we're in a great position to do well in those matches. And then the other thing we try and do is we try and get some stiff competition, and we're going to get that in our third weekend. I mean, we're going to get it in the first 2, but we're going to get it even more so in that third tournament, playing Eckerd and Rollins and Florida Southern, and then University of Puerto Rico, Rio Piedras in that weekend as well. So we'll have a pretty good idea of where we're at after those 3 weeks.
Now, later on this week, we'll have the release of the Peach Belt Conference's preseason poll and all-conference team, but there's going to be a little bit of a change in the Peach Belt. We've had some head coaching changes, some graduating athletes. What's kind of your first snapshot as to how the Peach Belt is going to be volleyball-wise this year?
I'm pretty sure, I have a feeling that it's going to be stronger than it has been the last 3 years. The last 3 years it's been kind of top-heavy. But I really feel this year the depth of the conference is going to show a little bit more. I mean, I really feel as though we could have at least three teams in the regional, and even 4 if things play out how they should. Montevallo has some great players returning. Flagler has basically everyone back except for their setter. USCA has a large core of players back. Augusta State has a large core of players back, including freshman of the year in the conference. Those 4 teams and us, those could be 4 or 5 teams that are in the top 10 in the regional at the end of the year, and another team could sneak in there as well. So I'm looking forward to it being tougher from top to bottom and day in and day out.
All right, Armstrong opens up the season August 31st, September 1st, hosting their season opening volleyball tournament. Coach Condon, good luck with the first weekend, and we'll talk to you after that.
Thank you.